So I'm pretty stoked about this, Jorasa. I think this game could be highly contested. Stephano is spawning down in the bottom right position. He represents Team Evil Geniuses. And the big thing that he wants is not to get too low. Pride on the line, the top spot on the line. Can he do it? But his opponent spawning up in the top left position, the blue Zerg player from Quantic Gaming. He's 1-0 up. It's HyuN.
Alright, now this is a tense moment for Stephano right now. I mean, this is battling for the top spot. It looks like it's definitely not a tense moment for him by the looks of things. He's chilling out, enjoying a little bit of banter here with HyuN. Maybe accidentally hitting his caps lock key there. I wonder if we can read into that. HyuN having a good laugh as well. These guys, of course, are through to the elimination brackets tomorrow, but this could potentially make a difference to how hard their first round opponent is. And of course, when you get to sort of this stage of the tournament, you start seeing differences in prize money as well. I imagine both of these guys are sufficiently confident of their play that they think they should at least be able to get past the round of 16 into the round of 8, and these are definitely two players I'd consider in the final 8. But there is the chance you get paired up against Gumiho or Life, for example, and that could be a major issue for either one of these guys.
It could be. Now, just to put in perspective what that first spot means, it means that rather than going up against, say, Tielo, you go up against Harston, if he gets through. Or
Okay.
you could be in a situation where actually you go up against Squirtle rather than Show. These might seem like little differences, but then there are some real powerhouses coming through, and that's people like Gumiho, people like Life, which is someone who you definitely don't want to be facing
No, you really don't.
in the round of 16.
And we have the first sixlings popping out now from HyuN. Second gas geyser going to be cancelled here from him. Just going to be using that gas trick to get an extra supply. Nothing too much out of the ordinary right now. Stephano will spot that HyuN is not in the top right position. HyuN will likewise spot that Stephano isn't in the bottom left. They'll very soon figure out that they are cross spawns. And no, he's making a couple lings more than usual here, and he's going for a bailing nest. So yeah.
This is what
Wow.
this is what he always used to do.
This is what it's all about.
He always used to do this against Revival.
HyuN being HyuN.
He'd wait till game 2 and then go for some kind of really aggressive early
Oh,
strategy.
the bailing nest is coming down for Stephano as well. And look at this, 14 workers versus 12. So Stephano is basically doing the same thing that HyuN is doing slightly early. Ooh, and that Zergling, as it passed the center of the map, yes, he's turning around now. Just caught the tail end of these sixlings as well. So Stephano knows what's coming. And I'm really excited for Stephano here, because if he manages to hold this, he'll have more workers than HyuN and be in a decent position.
He will be. Stephano has got his Bailing Nest about 2/3 done. HyuN is finishing his, but defense advantage in ZVZ is pretty damn important.
Yes.
Ooh, I heard the morphing Bailings.
So did I. Here they are. And they're going to be outside around the third base location. Stephano able to spot them though, and at least one of them will be able to go down before it gets morphed in. There we go. The second one now being targeted, but he has to be careful. And boom, it's actually 4 Zerglings there getting taken out. Not the best trade right now, but HyuN coming in with more lings. Stephano has reinforcements though, and HyuN is going to be the first one with speedlings. Stephano will be able to pick those apart, though not the greatest place for HyuN to morph them in. Current work supply, by the way, 14 to 12 in Stephano's favor. Both sides only making lings and banelings right now. Stephano with a very, very slight economic advantage. And now the question is, who's going to relent first and try and go macro mode? This is basically a game of chicken right now, as both sides ramp up the tension.
They've both got to trade so cost effectively.
This is the Cold War, basically, in StarCraft.
Except the difference is they've both got nukes armed, and that is the Banelings.
That's true.
If one of them gets a good hit, that can make or break the difference. Oh, Stephano, he's got a lot of Banelings here. HyuN, though, he's just running straight for Stephano's base, and Stephano doesn't have much defense. Are these Banelings going to be able to do much going across the map? That is potentially going to be the really important thing, but only 2 making it through at the moment. The rest just getting forced back, and now, oh, Stephano.
Looking a little bit more dicey at the moment. The army supply is currently 14-2-11. Let's take a look at the unit tab, and here come the Banelings into the main base. Both of them explode before they get to the drones. Absolutely crucial there. And now the battle is going to be fought down here. HyuN looking like he has more Zerglings than Stephano, only by a little bit though. And that last Baneling morphing in is going to be able to take, well, I guess he could take out that one Zergling. Yep, turns around and actually does just that. So it looks like this game is about to stabilize, Metals.
It is. But this is so close. Okay, everything going in the moment is really important. There is one worker supply difference, but it's in HyuN's favour. HyuN, also does so well. Stephano was in a really good spot, but
big
he's
important point in the game. 7 minutes, guys, and HyuN is starting to drone up. Stephano is still building nothing but lings. Remember this moment. This could make or break one of these players right now. Stephano trying to decide how much more aggression is coming in from HyuN, and to be on the safe side, he's making lings, but HyuN was the first to transition into more drones, and as a result, he now has a 16 to 14 worker supply lead.
That is, it may not seem like much, but percentage-wise,
over time it does.
Over time, that really makes a difference. We see Stephano is forcing HyuN back. HyuN does have some defensive banings, I believe, but Stephano is getting some offensive banings. 4 of them coming in here. Stephano still waddling 2 around, trying to keep HyuN back. HyuN does manage to sneak in there, but he doesn't want to detonate too early because, of course, it takes 3 banelings to kill morphing banelings.
Yep, and there we go. The banelings actually back at full health now after they morph in. So those 2 banelings were wasted from HyuN, and Stephano now going on the offense. He is absolutely pure aggression. Morphing in more banelings inside the main base of HyuN, and can he do it? 6 more banelings coming in here. Wow, they're actually detonating on the queens. I'm not 100% sure about that. And
good trade there for Stephano.
That was just messy.
That is not something you want to happen, of course. Stephano there. Actually,
that was actually a decent trade for HyuN. A couple more lings. Okay, he does get the queen there as well.
But there's only one hatch. There's only one hatch, so he only needs 1 queen. That's the only essential part of this picture.
That's absolutely right. Worker supply, by the way, still 16 to 14 in HyuN's favor. So HyuN starting to get a very small advantage in this game now. That wasn't the best trade.
But look at this. Lots of Zerglings on the way over for Stephano, but HyuN just getting his own Zerglings popping out now. He needs some more defensive banings. If he can hold this off, he will win the game if Stephano doesn't start droning very soon.
Yeah, Stephano needs to consider a couple of drones. HyuN making 2 more. He's sneaking in 2 drones here and there where he thinks he can get away with it. And he's trying to let his micro do the talking everywhere else. And, Stephano, a 1
big bang hit.
Wow, that was actually really, really useful. And I think HyuN might be able, thanks to that, to actually get away with making these extra drones. Up 23 to 14 right now. Stephano was reaching the point of the game where this basically is all in.
Yeah, he's just still streaming more and more Zerglings. He knows that he is all in at this point. And HyuN, he's got defensive banings, he's got the queens there. He can even use the queens to wall off the ramp into his main.
Yeah, once that happens, it's going to be so difficult. HyuN might even consider, once he holds off this next wave of attacks, possibly even
that's what he's doing.
Go for the expand. There we go. And the queens are blocking off the wall there. Stephano, really, really difficult situation for him to be in. And we have banelings from both sides. 3 go down. Stephano's a couple more left. Oh, and we do get some going into the main, but not enough. These baneling hits should be able to keep HyuN defended. 29 to 26 supply, but look at HyuN's worker supply. Look at his income as well. Significantly higher than Stephano's right now, and he's still only building lings. This next attack, I think we'll find if it fails, Stephano might GG.
Yeah, Stephano, he's just still pumping more and more Zerglings, but he does have the banelings coming in. Spine Caller on its way. The second queen, though, has gone down, so that queen wall off cannot occur at the entrance, at the ramp to the main.
Okay, that could be big.
But defensive banelings, 9 defensive banelings coming in for HyuN. He's using Zerglings just to buy himself a bit more time. Here comes in the banelings. This has got to be so careful. 2 banelings for 4 would be a nice trade for HyuN there, but he's just letting them go through.
The banelings are going past. This could be something. Stephano needs to get back into the game. The banelings are going straight for the middle line. 2, only 1 of them are there. The rest of them explode on most of the banelings of HyuN, and now this is going to get a very messy effect. Oh, great baneling hits from HyuN. I think that might seal the deal.
It is still so close in supply. Stephano just sending more and more and more Zerglings across. He's doing nothing but holding down the Z key, occasionally morphing a few into banelings, but here he goes, he's running in those Zerglings, running in those banelings. The Spine Caller is done, doing a good job of focusing
and he's
down.
Finally going to kill a couple of drones here. J-Dog, after defending well for so long, he's now using his drones to fight against these lings. The rest of the lings that are coming out will be able to clean this up. The work supply is still 19 to 16 though, and HyuN is holding a substantial economic lead. It was big before, now it's substantial. And if Stephano can get 1 more group of hits in like that...
Oh, Stephano lost an Overlord there, checking to see if Stephano had an expansion.
Yes.
So now he's lost that Overlord, he is supply blocked. That's quite frustrating for him, he's getting 2 out now. That 1 kill on that Queen, you did a good job, Queen, well done.
And it looks like both sides are going to live to fight another day here, but HyuN has enjoyed a little bit of an advantage for quite some time. He's getting that Overlord back out, will be able to continue resupplying himself. The supplies are 32 to 28, by the way, in HyuN's favor, and HyuN is going to be the first to put down his natural expansion at the 13-minute mark of this game, guys. And 2 Zerglings might come in for a scout, but really, really nice walling off with those links the natural from Stephano.
All that HyuN needs to do is make sure that he's completely aware if Stephano is coming for some aggression so he can get some Zerglings and banelings out. But if he gets to keep that natural expansion, if that hatchery stays up for HyuN, he will win this game. Stephano is trying to expand behind this, but he's behind economically. What is the drone count at the moment, Mr. Jorasar?
The drone count at the moment, Mr. Maddles, is 18 to 24, still in HyuN's favor. And again, it's not like he's had a double-digit advantage or anything like that, but since I would say the 6 or 7 minute mark of this game, when he first snuck in those 2 drones to get that small lead over Stephano, he hasn't relinquished that lead. And because he hasn't relinquished that lead, over time, those few drones will just start to help him snowball as far as his army size is concerned, faster and faster. Stephano, we can see here now, he has some more tricks up his sleeve. He's going for a layer.
As well.
Ooh, losing that overload is huge.
And he hasn't started another one either. That's going to be a big problem for Stephano now. He's going to be supply blocked for what will seem like an eternity.
He doesn't need this, and there we go. He notices the supply block. Only just starts the overload. 42 to 30 supply, and HyuN wins game number 2 and the series against Stephano. So he will go into day 3 of DreamHack in first place of his group.